Miriam, good to see you both. Welcome to Popternative.
We're
Thanks,
so
man.
happy to be here.
Congratulations, Magic Hour world premiere at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. Miriam, I want to start with you because that script to screen journey is really interesting, right? Because I feel like it depends on the project, but what's that like reading this script and then seeing it come to life on screen specifically?
I mean, it's great. It's hard to watch myself, so probably better if I didn't have to see my stupid face up there, but that's just insecurity. Yeah, it's pretty miraculous, and it's been a long journey.
Mhm.
So, because it's a real independent film.
Yeah.
I love hearing, oh, it's an independent film. It only had a budget of 40 million. You're like, well, that's not independent. So the sort of scrappy nature of like what it means to make an independent film is just everywhere permeating this project, including how long and the tenacity that the director, Jackie Christy, had to get it made. And that's sort of what the film is also about, is the like belief in yourself and that hard slog to get to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh, it's interesting as well, too, because so much happens before you go to camera. And it's funny because Miriam said perfectly about indie film, right? It's
Right.
one of those things where low budget a lot of times, a big, incredible team of passionate people that want one goal to make the best movie possible. So before even filming, there's so much that happens before you go to camera on something like this. So from an acting perspective, you can see there's two journeys, right? Before filming Magic Hour and after filming Magic Hour, or for you, is it one big journey with multiple steps in between, Josh? I'm curious about that.
Oh boy, that's such a great question and complicated. I would say the thing that I like most is that feeling that you have when you first start doing it, like in high school or whenever you start doing it, which is like, I want to sign up to be a part of this thing. And I don't know what this thing exactly is. I have an idea about it, but that let's make something feeling. And that has so many gradations as you move forward. And those gradations, each of them, like each chapter is, I don't know, so informative. There's so much growth in each one. There's so much struggle. You know that because you're a filmmaker too. And I sort of feel like all of those things combined to make something you had no idea you were even after.
Yes.
And in this case, this many years later, like I didn't know anybody would necessarily see it. I knew I believed in Jackie and her script, Miriam, the people involved, but I had no idea that we'd be sitting in Santa Barbara at a world premiere. Like, look at this beautiful little film that is truly independent, which is cool.
And it's funny too, because this is more of a Jacqueline question too, because she's the writer director, but it's like, for my experience being behind the camera as like the producer, writer, and everything, so much like there's some changes like super quick, like a day before going to camera sometimes. You know what I mean?
No. There was, you have to, I mean, you really have to be able to pivot and roll with the punches and like stay present and creative the whole time, because, you don't have the luxury of like, all the money and all the people behind it being like, we'll fix that. No one's going to fix it. It's on fire. You have to fix it. You know what I mean? But I love that. And that's actually what the movie is about. I mean, I had just directed my first episode of a TV show when I got the script. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy and kismet. And it was about a director believing she could be a director. So then to like get all the way here, it just really evolves,
Well, that's a good segue, because I'd like to hear both your opinions on this, because I love talking about the craft and kind of how we got there with the characters and seeing it transform on the screen, so to speak. But Miriam, I'll start with you, and Josh, I'd love you to kind of tackle as well this as well. But like the movie really is this slice of life kind of soul searching, self-reflection component, right? Where everyone's going through things day by day, and they have to essentially kind of figure things out and everything. So I'm wondering, when you have a script like this, Miriam, and then you prepare from an acting perspective, is it more fun or more challenging to play these lost characters doing self-reflection? Because from the viewer perspective, they don't know they're lost. So I find that very fascinating. So what do you think about that quickly?
It's really challenging. It's really challenging because you have to tap into your own like deep-seated insecurities, right? And so you're living every day as someone who doesn't believe in herself and needs to find that belief. And that's your journey every day anyway as an artist, where you're like, no, I can do this. And so if you have to like live in the space of like, I really can't do this, it kind of takes a toll on you, and you have to like build yourself back up after your day of shooting. And even watching it was like really hard for me to watch myself going through that, because of how hard you have to work every day if you're an actor or a director or a creative person, So it was very challenging, actually. It's weirdly more, it's easier to play someone in a way who's a boss, because then you get that vibe and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this feels. So yeah, it's kind of building yourself back up from
But
that.
Josh, it becomes more relatable because everyone watches Magic Hour, and whether it's your character or someone else's, they're like, oh, I see myself in this, or I see my relative is like this. You know what I mean? There is that kind of like relatability with these lost characters too, right, Josh?
I think that's right. And I think we all agree that, you know, when reading something or watching something, experiencing something we're interested in, it's really that gray that is the most interesting, where it's not the black or white of this guy's just this or this guy's just that, but like what is the minutia of the experience of the person that Miriam really brings to the screen beautifully, which is all of that multidimensionality, sort of like what makes this full person who is in the middle of a little bit of crisis, you know,
Yeah.
and like and searching and yearning, and that's sort of what interests me anyways.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find those stories.
Absolutely. Magic Hour is having its world premiere at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. Josh, Miriam, was an honor and privilege to speak with both of you. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man. Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.